Time now for the Educated Retirement Show with your host, Jay Kaplan. Jay discusses reverse mortgages and can answer your questions at 951-922-3532. Call lines are open at 951-922-3532. And now here's Jay.
Well, good afternoon to everyone out there, and welcome to the Educated Retirement Radio here on KMET 1490, where we contemplate retirement and how to best prepare for retirement and how to best stay successfully retired, and at the same time look back into quite a bit of history at the same time. You until the end of the year, aren't going to talk too much about my business. I don't anyway very much, but I just a quick plug and we'll get right on with it. We've got possibly a live blues concert coming after 3:30. And we'll also be talking about, not Elvira, what's her name? Vampira, yeah. So and that'll be before then. But remember, this is where you will find education, okay? You will not find anything that you have to do. You will not find any obligations, or just give me a quick hello right here. Or how about just email me at bestloantoday@gmail.com. bestloantoday@gmail.com. Now, so, I also, as far as the site is concerned, there's a blog there. I added a couple of things onto the blog. One is nostalgia, which we go over here, and one is wisdom, which we go over a little bit too. But what is today? It's National Have a Bagel Day, and I don't have one, so poor me. But, it's best known in New York and Montreal, and this is something I didn't know about Montreal bagels. They bake their bagels in a wood oven instead of boiling them. And Harry Lender, not a lender like me, a bagel maker, was the first to use a commercial bagel machine and pioneered the production of frozen pre-sliced bagels. It's also International Mountain Day. So, remember that... I'm sorry. I failed to show you a couple of great bagel carts. Okay? I think this looks okay on there. I think. If not, if you want to look at the videos I put up, I have the individual pictures there, too. That's an older one. And, of course, I love this picture. But back to the mountains. I was told or read yesterday that mountains represent 30% of the earth, and we all know that water covers 70%. So I think I better check my math, but that doesn't leave much for the rest of us. Mountains are home to 25% of land animals, including Bigfoot. Do you believe, Sean, do you believe in Bigfoot?
Of course.
Okay, there we go. I have a list of some mountain-type movies, but we'll see if we have time. We're going to talk about famous people's birthdays, and we'll start with, we'll get to Vampira soon, so you don't want to miss that. So, Val Guest was born in 1911 and earned his wings in 2005. He was an English film director. Yeah, of course, he did a lot of science fiction and then horror movies, and that's why I love him. But he is responsible for, and wrote some things too, over 45 films to his credit. And as a would-be actor, he made his money in London working as a bookkeeper, which is, I guess, the same as working as a waiter here in California. So he went on to direct 15 of the Hammer horror films after working as a writer for the London Hollywood Reporter. So I guess they have, a London version. Some of the movies he has done was The Quatermass Experiment, of which I have several copies. Of course, couldn't find one in time. Quatermass 2, and I've heard Val Guest talk about this, and he really didn't like Brian Don Levy. He was much too a personality, but I thought he did a really, really good job. This is maybe my favorite. Well, Quatermass 2 and this one. I had to do with this one, but this was Quatermass 3. And there were two sets, 1, 2, 3 on television, BBC, and 1, 2, 3 in the movies. But we'll get on with that. Abominable Snowman of the Himalayas. I didn't even know I had this, but look what our director found. Okay. So I guess I may have to look at that her again. When Dinosaurs Ruled the Earth. And I don't have anything on that, but I think I've seen it. And, you know, when dinosaurs ruled the earth, they did an advertising banner, and that banner was reproduced for the climax scene in the original Jurassic Park. So I think that was really great of Spielberg, who is a fantastic director, you know, in spite of the fact that he is such a successful one also. I did read something on Google the other day. It was talking about the best living American director as Terrence Malick, but you know, I might throw Spielberg and a few more of those in there too. But this guy who we're talking about now, Val Guest, was one of the 5 directors for the original Casino Royale in 1967. John Huston was another one of those. Now this is actually a recording. It's a special recording, 180 gram kind of thing. And of course, we've got music here by Herb Alpert and the Tijuana Brass. I think it's the best recorded Herb Alpert I've ever put my hands on to. And the very famous Look of Love by Dusty Springfield, for which I also have some 12-inch 45s of also. The Day the Earth Fire, for which Val won the best screenplay at BAFTA, B-A-F-T-A, which is basically the same as our Academy Awards. Now, this is a dark picture, but if you can see any of it at all, which of course I can't because there's a delay, but if you can see any of it at all, you can see the imaging is really cool. And that also had Janet Monroe from, yeah, you can see it. That also had Janet Monroe from The Crawling Eye, which we spoke about a week or two ago, who died like in her 30s, but
Forrest
that's
Tucker in this one was.
Well, Forrest Tucker was also in this one, The Abominable Snowman, and Forrest Tucker was, of course, in the great classic of The Crawling Eye. So there. So just a reminder, you're listening to the Educated Retirement Radio here on KMET, your home planet, and 1490 AM radio, the Mighty Met. And don't forget, www.drhecm.com, drhecm.com. Give me a call, 866-955-2233, 866-955-2233. Now we get into Vampira. And Vampira was born in 1922, and I have her flying away in 1008. I think that was wrong. How about, I don't know what year she passed on. We'll have to ask our director again. But she is gone.
2008.
Oh, 2008. Okay. That makes kind of more sense. But I've told this story before. I'm going to tell it again. But her name is, I'm going to spell it. I have no idea how to pronounce it. Mila, M-A-I-L-A. So if anybody knows how to pronounce it, let me know. Her middle name is Elizabeth. That I can do. And her last name, Syrjanimi. I think Vampira fits really well. So I know I've said this before, but she was the first that I know of, and it said she was the absolute first horror movie host on television who predated Sven Gulli, who I still love and watch every Saturday night, Elvira, who most of you know about, and of course Ghoulardi. Now, we talked about Ghoulardi a few weeks ago because he was Paul Thomas Anderson's father. And speaking of him, or PTA as he's known, how about him in the ranking of the best living American directors? I think he's way up there. My favorite's not the same as most people's. Inherent Vice, I thought, was incredible. And I also remember telling this story before about when I was shopping with my mommy and daddy. I must have been 6, 7 years old, maybe, right there. And we lived in the San Fernando Valley. I saw her walking or shopping on Ventura Boulevard. Now, she was dressed in black like what she, so it may have been a thing, but all I knew is that Vampira was on the same block that I was, and I was petrified. I think we went into a deli or something, and not the locks could take my attention away from looking at that door and hoping that Vampira was going to pass us by. Now, just to bring, we know this, of course. This is Elvira, who came later. But let me show you a picture of Vampira. This is what I saw coming down the street. You would be scared too, wouldn't you? Okay, but you know that reality is not what we think it is. Here's what she really looks like, or looked like. Okay, at 6 or 7 years old, I probably wouldn't have been too interested, but I may not have been as frightened in any case. So, and it also tells us why she was such a good friend of James Dean, and they were often spotted together at Googie's, not to be confused with Googie Withers from Lady Vanishes, and the other one I've talked about tonight. But Googie's Coffee Shop on the corner of Crescent Heights and Sunset, I know that, of course, I haven't been doing much traveling lately. I don't think it's still there, but this is probably while she was a hat check girl on the Sunset Strip. Maybe even Dino's. Remember Dino's right next to 77 Sunset Strip? But anyway, she also did modeling for Man Ray and Bernard of Hollywood, known as the photographer of Marilyn Monroe. And Man Ray was not only an artist, but a photographer who used solarization, just like they did in Cinematic in Angry Red Planet. Anyway, was that, and this is great. This was a publicity stunt, but my God, this is great. She ran for Nightmare. It's like Nightmare and Mayor of Hollywood on a platform of dead issues. Is that what it says? Yeah. The Nightmare running on dead issues. God, that was great. And there's a couple of pictures showing her. ABC, who we are now on right now, right, Sean? This is ABC. ABC was supporting her, and they drove her around, or cruised. She was cruising around Hollywood in a chauffeur-driven 1932 Packard convertible. It's a small picture, but maybe you can see that, dressed as Vampira. Oh, let me hold that up. And carrying a black parasol. This is another such picture. And perhaps her most famous role was as herself No, she didn't play. Well, no, she was. I'm getting it mixed up with the Tim Burton film. She did play in Plan 9 from Outer Space. You know, Plan 9 from Outer Space is usually considered possibly one of the worst films ever, but also one of the most enjoyable to sit through, as long as you're not, strapped down and have to sit through it all the time. But, and then the character of Vampira was also in Ed Wood's film and I've got the movie, but I thought this was an amazing film. I think you did too. When he did Ed Wood, especially in black and white, like it should have been done. Also, it featured Criswell, who had his own show, Criswell Predicts. And yes, I am old enough to actually remember it. Do you see that? Okay. Greetings, my friends. We are all interested in the future, for that is where you and I are going to spend the rest of our lives. And I think he not only said that in the movie, he said that also on his show, every one of his shows. We have some honorable mentions. Terry Garr, 1944, Rita Moreno, 1931, Marie Windsor, 1919 to 2000. And before we get on to NASA Nelly and a break, I just a shout out to Marie Windsor, who was a great film noir actress and some science fiction stuff. This Narrow Margin, they did a remake. Both are good. This is the best. It's great. There's the remake, but it's good also. And she was also in Catwomen of the Moon, and we saw her in person at a 3D festival from Cinematheque, where we also met John Landis and Joe Dante. And here's that. I don't know how much of that you can see. It shows a picture, Catwoman, right there, of it. And, oh yeah, who is this? Oh, John Landis. Here's John Landis' signature. Or autograph, excuse me. Here's Joe Dante's autograph. I love that movie, Matinee. But we'll talk about that because we're running out of time. And who else do we have here that we met at Cinematheque? Oh, Diane Baker. We met her along with Kim Novak and Tippi Hedren. That was at a different get-together that must have had to do with, obviously, Hitchcock. But just to let you know that music for Catwomen was written by Elmer Bernstein, and he did it also for that other great 3D, Robot Monster. And Elmer Bernstein, although he did some great work, he's not to be confused with Rita Moreno's Bernstein. Gilbert Rowland also joined us in 1905 and went bye-bye in 1994. So just to remind you, this is KMET AM, the Mighty Met, www.drhecm.com, www.drhecm. That's Dr. Heckham, but just give me a call, 866-955-2233, 866-955-2233. Now, we are going to, is NASA Nelly, has she landed yet? Let's listen. Okay, she's here. She's just in from outer space. And she's going to give us a little bit of talk about Mothman.
Point Pleasant, West Virginia, a city bordering two rivers surrounded by sugar maple trees and was the home of Mark Twain's grandparents. It is also known for the shocking collapse of the Silver Bridge on December 15, 1967, and its connection to the controversial Mothman. This is the same Mothman that inspired ufologist John Keel, who wrote Mothman Prophecies, which led to the film by the same name starring Richard Gere in 2002. It all began several months before the bridge catastrophe. Community sightings were widespread of a creature looking like a flying man with 10-foot wings and glowing eyes similar to bicycle reflectors. Some of those observations were connected to UFOs. It was said to have been seen dragging off dogs, chasing people, and damaging roofs of parked cars. It was also reported that a local abandoned military munitions base known as the TNT was its home. Its presence reportedly led to premonitions by individuals of the destruction of that bridge. The Mothman almost completely disappeared from West Virginia after December 15th, but not out of mind. Many have studied the existence of such a monster, claiming that it was an alien, supernatural being, or a previously unknown type of animal. Point Pleasant has an annual Mothman Festival that attracts 10 to 12,000 visitors a year. The 12-foot tall metallic statue serves as a reminder. He joins the other West Virginian creature, the Flatwoods Monster, as well as the Wendigo, Chupacabra, and the Pudwudgie.
We need to talk about Pudwudgies more in relation to Hellier, Kentucky, and things like that, and goblins. And that last picture was John Keel, who I really admire. But you know what? It's time for a break. Hang on, and we'll be right back. Maybe even, I think, we will have a live concert right here on KMET. Thanks so much. Well, that's kind of a bluesy number, and thank you, Sean, for having picked that. We are privileged enough to have Gino Villamor back from last week. You remember last week he talked about singing the blues, and we're going to try to get him to do that today. He is the managing director, 1Heart Caregiver Services, South Bay and Hermosa Beach.
Right.
Now, we talked about his past. We can do that quickly. He gained a lot of experience in the Philippines and offshore client support for people working in this country and maybe other countries too. So his HR recruitment put him in a great position for any type of business and connections for any type of business he would want to go through or get into. And we are connected now with 1Heart Caregivers, or Gino is definitely an owner or a franchisee. We'll call you owner, right? Because that's really what it is.
Yeah.
In the South Bay area. And of course we were discussing who is better looking, his wife or his kids, but we're still not going to get into that. We can let him sing about that. So anything else you wanted to add about you to get started with?
Well, I guess it's an important bit of information to put out there that I've only been in the home care industry for like a couple of years, so there's
but
a
I
lot.
did say that you were in the HR business and connecting people of all levels.
That's right.
Almost worldwide, and you could have chosen a single type of business that you wanted to get into because you basically came from a lot of businesses.
Mm-hmm.
And you chose healthcare for a couple of reasons. One, I won't get into too much because you do come from the Philippines, and it just seems like people from the Philippines care about their older people and care about. I mean, it's just like we could do a whole show about people
Yeah,
from the
it's like
people
second.
with.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, either from the Philippines or with Filipino history that are just. I mean, they're everywhere in this business. Whether you're not only in your business, but oh, my ear itch, but a little. But I mean, in the hospitals and things like that, everywhere.
Hmm.
So I don't know, but anyway, I'll stop stepping on your toe. So go ahead and finish what you were talking
Oh
about.
yeah, I mean, I guess that's one thing, and as far as my history with 1Heart is concerned, uh, uh, I've learned a lot. I'm learning everything in the home care industry just from this entire experience, like nowhere else. There's nowhere else in my entire work history where I've gotten everything that I'm doing now except from here, and which is great, because I'm learning from the best. You know, imagine if I had to learn like different bits of
Right.
different aspects of the whole thing from different sides. It would have been messy. It would have been a catastrophe.
Yeah, but now others are learning from you, correct?
Oh yeah. They definitely are. I mean, it's really like half of the job I'd say is like putting information out, like telling them about, what kind of options they have, and not really being pushy in terms of, because it's a business, and any business would want to, be profitable in every way possible. But this is like an intimate um, type of
Right.
personalize it as much as you can, and being to educate them, asking questions and being able to formulate answers based on a unique situation of the potential care recipient would be, it's just really an essential part of the job.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and we also, and what we're talking about now is kind of keeping older people also talking. I mean, you can be 20 and get into this business. We don't want to stop you from
Hmm.
getting into this business if you're young.
That's
Like,
right.
but for older people, we want to see older people very busy and dedicated, and then that's what we think this will help do.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so I think you said there was a couple of things you would like to bring up that we just ran short of time on last week.
Hmm. Oh, I guess one of the things I remember, Randy talking to us about, when we were, prepping for the guesting was, how our services, how if a potential care recipient, like an elderly person, has long-term care insurance. So if somebody has long-term care
Oh yeah,
insurance,
good point. Good point.
this is something that would be an advantage for that person, because it covers our services. I mean, sometimes maybe I guess it depends on the type of package that they got, type of deal that they got at the beginning, but it could be like 100% or a certain percentage of it. And I've had a couple of clients who've utilized that type of insurance, and it worked really well for them. Okay, so because it's
Sure.
out of pocket, and people wouldn't want to. I mean, if you had a choice, you wouldn't want to spend for services like these. But as a matter of like safety and precaution, you'd really have
You
to.
have to. You
Yeah.
have to.
Yeah.
This is. I mean, this is what. If you're going to spend money on anything, this is what you're going to spend money on.
Mhm.
And I spend a lot of time trying to show people or educate them on other ways to pay
Yeah.
for health care, because so few people have long-term care
Mhm.
insurance. But it's great if you have had that.
Yeah, exactly. Because one of the initial questions that I normally get is this covered by my insurance? Is this covered by Medi-Cal or Medicare? Unfortunately, it's categorized under non-medical care, so thus it isn't normally covered by
No.
those types of things. So yeah, so
But
long-term
I'll
care.
tell you that I think I saw it was 70 or 80% of Americans feel that their normal health insurance or Medicare
Hmm.
for your services,
Mm-hmm.
and they are not correct. So they need to be stable. They need to get a way to do it. There's nothing more important. You don't want to end up in the hospital. You want to end up at home with people, good people from your company, that kind of thing.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, yeah. And I guess another thing, that just popped into my head. One of the things that we wanted to emphasize on the I guess on the franchising end, like for people who are looking for a way to be able to have a profitable business and at the same time serve the community.
Oh boy, serving the community is great.
Yeah. On the franchising end, it's important for them to know that our company 1Heart has been very good at driving our brand in recent years, like driving it in through many different platforms, specifically online. You can find us everywhere, and at the same time, those that have existed for a long time, like flyers and marketing collaterals. Our brand is just out there, so they can be assured that when they choose to represent this brand, if they get into home care, they wouldn't. It would be easy for potential clients to trust them right away, and to feel at ease. I'm getting this service. It's been around for 13 years. I'm seeing it everywhere. That sort of thing. So the level of confidence is already up there. So there's not a lot
Now,
of work.
before I want to do. We promised, but we told our listeners that they might be lucky enough for a live blues concert. And but what's important, we put important stuff first. So before, and hopefully you will, no pressure, of course, you're just here live in front of hundreds of thousands of listeners. Go ahead and give out all of your contact information and then just go into it, and then we can get back to more discussion if there's more time. But
Sure.
20 or 30 numbers would be fine.
Sure, so no problem. So once again, my name is Gino Villamore. I am what you call a client care manager for the 1Heart Caregiver Services South Bay location. So if you live in the South Bay area of LA, if you know where the beach cities are, Manhattan, Hermosa, and Redondo, and the Palos Verdes Peninsula, San Pedro, and everywhere in between that, Torrance, that's my area. So anyone who lives there, you call 310-773-7207. If you have any questions about home care, what kind of options you have, if you need a caregiver where you are, that's the number you call, and I can help you out. All right? You can
It doesn't matter where you live. Call, and Gino will put you in the right direction.
That's right. Yeah. Wherever you are, I guess in Southern California, there's a location that could serve you. Yeah. So yeah, I guess that's it's for my information. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
So go ahead and now introduce the great and famous recording star, Gino. We'll just stick with the first name, all right? Gino,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Gino.
All right. Well, thanks for having me, Jay. So let me just put into character a little bit, all right?
All right,
So-
now you're talking.
Yeah. So can you hear the guitar, Jay? Sounds good.
That sounds great.
You hear it? Okay.
Ah.
Okay.
Absolutely, we're ready.
So you know who Jimi Hendrix is, right?
I believe it's the fact it was his birthday. Was it last week or the week before? We talked about him a lot.
That's right. So
And about his blues album came out only a few years ago.
yeah, I mean, I think he came up with this is like an anniversary.
Yeah.
No, not an anniversary, but yeah, like an all blues album. I think I have that. I think I got that.
Yeah, the 2-record set with it's great.
Yeah, well, this one's not one of his most popular. I'll try to do as much justice as I could with it. This song is interestingly I've been a Jimi Hendrix fan all my life, but I've heard this first from another artist called Tuck and Patty. You know, if you know who Tuck Andress is, like a great like guitar player. He's married to Patty. I forgot her last name. They do have a duo, and they did like. I really love the song. I believe Kenny Rankin did a number.
Yeah.
Did this number too. All right, so this one is called "Up from the Skies" by Jimi Hendrix.
And
You ready?
your interpretation, your cover.
Yeah.
so say.
Yep. I just wanna talk to you. I don't wanna do you no harm. I just want to know about your different lives from different people from. I heard some you got your families living in cages, tall and cold. Some just say they're in just away past the age of old. Is this true? Please let me talk to you. Let me talk to you. Let me talk to you. I just want to know about the rooms behind your mind. Do I see a vacuum there? Am I going blind? Is it just remains from vibrations and echoes long ago? Things like love the world and let your fancy flow. Is this true? Please let me talk to you. Let me talk to you. Let me talk to you. I have lived here before, the days of ours. And of course this is why I'm so concerned. And I come back to find the stars misplaced and the smell of a world that has burned. And the smell of a world that has burned. So where do I purchase my ticket? I just wanna have a ringside seat. I wanna know about the new Mother Earth. I wanna hear and see everything. I wanna hear and see everything. I want to hear and see everything. I wanna hear and see everything. I want to hear and see everything.
Wow.
Yeah, there you go. Right? Some Jimi
Well, I
Hendrix.
hope that's not. You got another one, right? Coming?
I haven't done it in a long time, you know, so might be
That's okay.
might not be good for your radio show. But
Everything will be good for my radio show. So, it can be just a short one or whatever, or we can talk a little first and then you can do some. But,
Sure.
I really, really feel privileged that we were able to get involved in that. Okay.
Well, I'm glad to have been able to be part of it.
Well, you could be a regular part of it. You never know. In fact, we may just turn this into a blues program, and that's the end of that.
Yeah, we could, yeah.
Yeah. But,
Talk about-
we do have health issues going on, and You know, I was supposed to go into the hospital Monday for 2 surgeries, and that's been put off because of COVID. And Hoag Hospital, which is in Newport Beach. I don't live in Newport Beach, but it's a huge hospital,
Hmm.
and there's no room for me. I guess the good part of that is that, I could tell you what's wrong with me, and it would sound like it was horrible, but it is still looked at as elective surgery,
Hmm.
which is a good news. So, I'll be fine. And I'll also be back next week, which I wasn't going to. But, what kind of advice for everybody should we be? I mean, I could give some, but you know me, but you're in
Yeah,
the business
yeah.
itself. Or what do you see, and what do you see that people are not doing?
Yeah, well, it's great that you started off with that you mentioned that scenario where you needed to go to the hospital, but they have no space for you, and in a different, maybe if you were a different person in different circumstances, you might need care, and
Yeah, of course.
and
We'd be
and
calling you right now.
yeah, and an institution like a hospital couldn't provide it, then our services would be, I guess your next best bet. Your next best alternative. Because we understand that there's a lot of folks out there, mostly, like older people,
Oh,
have not been.
you're looking at one. This,
it's, I guess it's a state of mind, I would have to say.
no,
But
I wasn't pointing at the mind. That's still infantile. I was showing the face.
just showing the face. All right, all right. Just the corporal part, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, well, yeah. So anyway, they're not as strong as they were, and but they still need to be able to get around the house. They still need to be able to like do groceries, and like basically do stuff. In our industry we call it activities of daily living, and if you can't, and maybe most of your family's far away, like would be there to help you, as if you
Right.
had
Right.
as if you had them with you. So
And you don't necessarily want family members close to you anyway. I mean, you like them in your heart, like 1Heart, but you never know what they may have been exposed to. You never know what you may have been exposed to.
mhm.
Which reminds me, Kathleen, did we get the results of my COVID test from the other day? No? Okay. I'm okay, though. What the heck? I had to get the test for the hospital, but now it doesn't matter. But I'm okay. I don't have it.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
think. No. But a lot of people don't think, and they actually do, and that's the problem.
Hmm. Yeah, and we've taken care of a lot of individuals who just finished surgery, or is just coming from a type of condition where when they get home, they are better than they were before they went to the hospital. When they get
Sure.
home, they still
That's
they're
idea.
still not at their best. They're still not at their 100%. So we could come in and help you out, maybe just for a few hours, until you get better. That sort of thing. Maybe for a few days, a few weeks, or maybe a couple of months. It depends on the type of situation you are. So the services are very flexible that way. So that's one thing I'd like to emphasize. You have this option. Not a lot of people are aware of that, but yeah.
And I do like to make reference to if you do have family members, even live-ins or things like that, taking care of you for those activities of daily living, they need a break,
Yeah.
or else they're going to end up in the hospital. And you don't want to get something off of Craigslist. You want somebody that knows what they're doing, so that if you are the caregiver, you can take some days off and feel, in your 1Heart, that you are still taking care of your loved ones and
That's
feel
right.
restful about that.
That's right. Yeah. And I guess to add to that, it's before 2016, this type of service, home care, having a caregiver at home, has been I would have to say like a completely unregulated type of service. You could just pick off someone.
Yeah,
someone
I
from the
remember
street.
when a lot of those laws came in.
Yeah, and you pay them a certain amount, and sometimes below minimum wage, that sort of thing. But when that law came, AB 12112, if I'm not mistaken, or 1217, it protected the consumer and the caregivers both. So this way none of them the caregivers don't get overworked.
Yeah, I'm sure some of the Craigslist type caregivers went out of business. As they should, and now it's just you get what you pay for, and you want 100% professionalism, especially from this.
You don't want to. I mean, because if you put somebody to work at your home, for a certain number of hours, you automatically assume employer responsibilities, and you have to pay for basically like assume all the responsibilities of an employer as if you were a business, but you don't want to do that, right? It's a whole other headache, and you end up spending more, money and more time, more effort. So in our case, we want to guarantee you that that peace of mind, that we'll take care of everything. We're a full service caregiving solution for you and your family.
And you'll sing to them too.
Yeah, if they wanted to. If it's
full service, you got it.
If it's an essential part of their care, why not, right?
That's the way I see it.
Yeah. So I guess I'm gonna do let's do you've heard of a guy called Eric Clapton, right?
Yeah, somewhere back there.
Somewhere back there. Huh?
And remember, we only have about 5, maybe 6 minutes left. We want to make sure you get your contact information out again. So.
Yeah.
4 minutes. Right. So why don't you give your contact information out real quick and then sing for 3.5 minutes?
All right, for like home care services, caregiving services that you need, for anywhere you are in the Southern California region, or even in Las Vegas, or
private concerts,
San Francisco, you call us. You call 1Heart Caregiver Services. My name is Gino. I'm from the South Bay area. My number is 310-773-7207. Once again, that's 310-773-7207. That's 1Heart Caregiver Services of South Bay.
And thanks so much. This is Jay from the Educated Retirement, and I'll say take care of yourself. Have a great week. I'll say good night, goodbye, right, because we will probably be just singing right through our sign off. So take it away.
Before you accuse me, take a look at yourself. Before you accuse me, take a look at yourself. You say I've been spending my money on other women, been taking money from someone else. I called your mama about 3 or 4 nights ago. I called your mama about 3 or 4 nights ago. Well, your mother said, son, don't call my daughter no more. See you again, Jay.
That was great. And we even, I think, have a minute to say good night.
Good night,
Is that
everyone.
right, Sean? Oh, so we still got a minute. So, I want to, again, thank you so much, and everyone at 1Heart, and all the listeners. Stay safe. Sean, you too. I need you. Sean? So do a lot of other people. So, yeah, we know. We got 1 minute. So we just want to make sure everybody gets thanked real well. And we were talking about bagels earlier. Uh, yeah, you had some bagel jokes earlier. We got 30 seconds. I want to fill with a bagel joke. Oh, well, we'll to a pickle joke. So remember those? What do you call a frozen pickle hanging from a roof? An ice pickle. So remember that Kaplan will be here on the same corner in front of the cigar store next week. And I'm
All right.
really privileged that all of you people are listening. Any of you people are listening. We love you, and have yourself a great, great week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.